Hello, welcome back. This is Miniature Mike. Today we're going to continue the tier list video series for sculpts, and we've done 2 videos so far, Clone Strike and Rebel Storm. And so today we're going to take a look at Revenge of the Sith and see how those sculpts stack up against each other and which ones do I really like. And then at the end of the video and in the comments, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I've been able to get a lot of really great feedback so far, and it's things like I feel like I generally agree a lot with what other people dislike. But definitely there's a lot of variation in terms of what we like and stuff that we prefer, and it's really fun to see that. So taking a look at the first one, the Dark Side Adept, I believe this is. I think this sculpt is pretty great. I'm going to put it in A tier. It's just kind of like a ninja. It looks like a cross between like, Jedi, ninja, and like cowboy or something like that. Like the way it's holding the gun. I think it's a pretty sweet sculpt at least. Don't care for the actual unit in the game, but I'm going to put it in A tier for now. Egan Kohler, I don't know. For some reason, I have never I like this sculpt a lot more in Clone Strike, personally. I've never been a fan of Egan Kohler, Jedi Master's sculpt. It's actually not too bad. I'm going to put a B for now. Maybe I'll bump it down to a C. I don't know. We'll see. Antilles, it actually looks pretty nice. I'm going to put a B tier. Don't love it. Don't hate it. It's just kind of, for me, like it's I think they do a good job overall with what they got. But at the same time, it's kind of, like the cape looks so good. Like what he's wearing around it looks pretty solid. But that's about it. That's about it for me. This one, this is going to be a really hot take. I don't like this one. Not hate it, but I'm not a fan of this one. It's like, I like the unit in the game. He's not bad. And I know a lot of people will probably really like this sculpt, but for me personally, whenever I look at it at a glance, it always looks like he's balancing on one foot and like spinning around or something. And so while I like that they're going for a lot of like interesting motion in this particular sculpt, it's just I don't hate it, but it's just never really worked for me. Haven't been a huge fan of it. Ooh, excuse me, but yeah, it's kind of have to leave it. So probably my first hot take, but not a fan. Alderaan Soldier, meh. Battle droids, I'm gonna put both of them in here. I think these ones, I'll give them a B tier. They actually look pretty good. Like, they look pretty well developed for kind of where they were at. They weren't as good in the last set. I think they look decent in this set. Like, they're able to get some of that skinny articulation instead of just being these flat poses. They're actually kind of looking out more, and they look good. Anakin Skywalker Jedi Knight. I might put this guy in A tier. I think it looks. I've always really enjoyed this pose a lot. It looks like he's doing like a parry over the side of his shoulder. Really nice looking. ATRT looks pretty good. The driver looks great. It's a really solid overall looking machine. It's probably a little smaller than it should be, but it's fine. Got to fit it onto a medium thing somehow. I think A tier is good for it. I'll put things in at S tier if I personally really like them a lot. Young mercenary pose, I just don't care for it. I don't hate this pose, but it's whatever. Like, in some sense, it's kind of cool because he's like spinning around, but I don't know, for some reason this pose has just never done it for me. Let's do these guys. This one, I'm gonna put it in C tier. I don't hate it. Like, it looks really nice overall, but I'm just kind of tired of that Tusken Raider. Like, it's the same pose as the Nikto, same pose as the Tusken Raider, and there's like another guy or two that has the exact same pose. So I'm a little sick of this type of pose by now because we've already seen it so many times. I'm gonna put this one in D tier, and the reason I'm putting this one in D tier is it reminds me a little bit of Aayla Secura in the last one. It just, every time I see this pose, I think he's slipping on a banana or something. It just looks like he's like, whoops, I'm falling backwards. Like, the sculpt is actually kind of good, but I think like the detail looks really cool. But I've never been able to get over. So part of me actually kind of loves it, but the other side, part of me is like, nah, that ain't working for me. Clone Trooper, I think this guy looks pretty good. I don't know if I'll say A tier. I'm gonna reserve A tier for really good looking Clone Troopers, but nice looking ones. I think the Chad Grey Mercenary Commander's S tier. I don't know why. I just have always loved the way this guy looks. Like, they did a great job depicting the species. I love the way he's kind of like pistol up and commanding and something like that with mercenaries. I just have always thought this was a great sculpt, so that's my 2 cents. Don't care about this one for Chewbacca. It's fine, I guess. I don't know, I just think it's kind of a boring Wookiee sculpt, and maybe my bias about how bad he is in the game is kind of playing a part too. I'm gonna put this one with the same thing. I think it's a good pose. The only problem with it for me is just saturation. Like, you see it all the time. Like, it's like one of the most common units in the entire freaking game. So That's kind of my only gripe, but it's solid. Like, I think both of these clone troopers are definitely heading in the right direction compared to the last set. Clone Trooper Commander, I think this guy looks pretty sick. I'm gonna put an A tier for now. I might bump him, but I've always thought the original Clone Trooper Commander looks awesome. Love the visor. Yeah, looks really good. Zabrak, boring. I don't know. Maybe I'll say C tier. I just think it's a boring pose overall. I'm not a big fan of like the knees open, arms apart poses. They're a little weird to me. This guy, Clone Trooper Gunner. Don't really care for this pose as much either. It's kind of boring. Just kind of gun down, just looking forward. It's not my favorite. Not a fan of this one right here either. Actually, I'm going to put it in B tier. I put the other one in S tier. When it's rolled up, it looks not like they do a good job capturing it being rolled up. It's just a bummer that it's rolled up. So yeah, these guys rolling around. You know, I think the best way to play it actually is to have two of these, the Clone Strike and the Rebel and the Revenge of the Sith versions, and then what you can do is just like when it stops, you put the Clone Strike version out, and then when you move him, you replace him with the Revenge of the Sith version and have him move around. So that'd be kind of more cinematic, but I don't know. I think I'm just gonna dump this guy down here in D tier, C tier. I'm not a big fan of the sculpt personally. I've never been a big fan of this one either. So this is, I guess you guys are getting a kind of, I guess, a vision here into how I feel about Revenge of the Sith. Not my favorite set for sculpts or for characters. I don't really care for the sculpt. Actually, I'll put it in B tier. It's not bad. This guy's sculpt, I'm going to put him in A tier. I'm not totally sure about S tier, but it's probably one of my favorite Palpatine sculpts. Really, really good looking. I'm going to put General Grievous. I think I'm going to put him, I might put him in S tier. The reason is he is kind of old. It's an older sculpt. And so maybe like it doesn't exactly look as great as the ones you see later on in Clone Wars and stuff. And sometimes he can get smashed, like all those lightsabers get smashed, but I like what they're going for. Like he has the 4 lightsabers all sticking out. Looks pretty good. I've always been a fan of this particular sculpt. The other General Grievous though, I think this sculpt for me is just boring. I think again it's on its own it's not bad, but like his cape kind of ruins any kind of like, you know, gaps. Like sometimes in a sculpt it's good to have gaps, you know, and like, you know, arms and things, but if it's just kind of one chunk of plastic, I don't know if I like it as much, unless it looks really good. But it looks pretty solid, but not my favorite. I'm going to put it in B tier. I don't hate it though. The Godel Fringer, pretty solid. I'm going to put this guy in B. Just kind of doing that like lunging over to the left or right pose. Solid. Not bad. I'm just going to throw this guy somewhere in here. Deveronian Soldier, I think. Not bad. He's just kind of walking forward, knee down, you know, gun cocked back. I might just put this in B tier. It looks fine. Talkie Tech Specialist. I know I'll just say B tier. Actually, it's a pretty decent pose, all things considered, but I don't know. Well, maybe it is A tier, actually. Let me think. We'll see. I'll put B tier for now. I'll do high B tier in case I want to bump it up. General Grievous wheel bike. Oh man, I think this thing is so cool. I don't know about you, but I'm a sucker for big machines, and I've always thought that General Grievous's wheel bike was pretty cool. So I'll do this one S tier personally. Like I'm a big fan of both of these. I actually have a couple Grievous wheel bikes, and they're pretty fun. All right, we got another D tier. I hate this pose for Mace Windu. Again, it's the Rebel. It's like the Hoth Trooper pose. You know, knees apart. Hands open. This one's not nearly as bad in my opinion, but I've never been a fan of this Mace Windu pose personally. Doesn't look good. Let's see here. Jedi Knight. I think it's not bad. I like the way he's moving. Kind of like lunging over, lightsaber down. Pretty good. Maybe I'll bump it to A tier if anymore. Moon Guard. Boring. Boring for me at least. Neimoidian Soldier. There's 2 Neimoidian Soldiers. I'm going to put her first of all down here. It's a very boring pose. She's just kind of standing there watching. So I don't think it's the worst thing ever. They do capture Mon Mothma well, but it's not like she's doing anything that I really dislike that upsets me. But it's just kind of static. That's kind of how C is. They're just kind of, sometimes they're static poses that I think still look good but aren't really doing much. or their poses that look a little weird or boring. Let's see here. Neimoidian Soldier. It's not bad. I'll put it in B tier. Not bad at all. It's good detail. I think these guys are S tier. Nautilin Soldier. I've always been a massive fan of these guys. They're just. It looks like he's about to jump to the left, or to his right, I should say, and then like just dual wield those guns. I've always thought that these guys' sculpts were incredible. So lots of fun there. Sandhill. Boring. I'm just gonna put both of these down here. I just think they're boring sculpts. I don't know what else you're gonna do, but like, well, I'll put them here. I think they capture Sandhill well. They make him look good, but like he's just kind of that type of character where he's not gonna be doing much anyway for me. So Obi-Wan Kenobi, General Obi-Wan. So Obi-Wan Kenobi, Jedi Master. What do I think about this guy? I see him every day. It's kind of boring though. He's just kind of standing up straight with the sword behind his back. Shoot. I think I'm going to have to say down here or C. There's better Obi-Wan Kenobi poses. That's absolutely true. I'm going to put this in A tier. I think they captured this droid really well. Great detail. Fantastic sculpt. I'm going to put this guy in C tier. It looks good. It's really small though. It's actually really good detail here, whereas in real life they're so small you have to really like kind of put them up to your eye to see them. The sculpt doesn't really get me too excited though personally. Battle droids, you know how much I love battle droids. I still like this sculpt a lot, so I'm going to say B tier. The other battle droid sculpt, I know in theory is probably more, but for some reason I've never liked the kneeling super battle droids. I don't know why. It's just something like I like them upright with their fist like this or extended, but I've never been a fan of like the partly kneeling one. I don't know if he's running or most of the ones I get, they seem really squashed, so it looks like he's kneeling. I'm going to say C tier. Actually, I'm going to just put them both in B tier. I do like this one a little bit more though, but not too bad. Let's see here. Separatist Commando. This guy's A tier. Maybe even S tier. We'll see. I've always loved these sculpts. Got the foot in the rock. Looks like he's in like some sort of like sniper position, shooting something up there. Sorry, Bail Organa. Don't like you very much. Not a fan of this sculpt. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like he's squatting too much, or if he's like extending too far forward. It just looks a little awkward to me. So not my favorite sculpt. I know some people might put it in like way high, but this isn't. I've always seen his sculpt and been like, meh, hard pass. Let's see. This guy looks pretty good. I'm gonna put him in A tier. I've always really liked the way like the flowing, like how they got his cape to be flowing, his robes flowing. And he's kind of like lunging forward. Looks really good. Captured well. Neimoidian. I don't like this one as much as the other one, so I'm going to put this one in C tier. I've always preferred this one more. I don't know why I haven't liked this one as much, but it's not my cup of tea. S tier for this guy. I just think this is awesome. Just seeing him blast off with his thrusters. Ooh, perfect. Beautiful for R2-D2. Shakti. This one looks pretty good. I'm going to put this one in A tier. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like really good detail. I like the way that she looks at the lightsaber kind of coming out like that. And I've always I don't know, I've always thought it was a really good Shakti pose personally, so I'll keep it right there. These guys are B tier. I think the Senate guard looks fine. Slime War, they definitely do a good job capturing him. I like the fact that the cape is kind of coming out just a little bit. But I'm going to put him with these three over here. I'm going to probably put Slime War actually in front. Don't hate them, but they're very just boring poses in terms of just diplomatic type of characters. Oh boy. Oh man, I've not liked this pose either for Tion Madan. I thought that was a giant dagger when I was younger, but no, it's just like his walking stick. And it just looks like he's like, I don't know, it's like, I'm gonna stab something, like arm outstretched. I don't know how to describe it, but for some reason I've never liked Tion Madan's pose at all. It drives me nuts. I'd almost think it was better. I'd like it more actually if it was more boring. I'd like it if his hand was on the cane and it was down. And maybe, yeah, I think I like it more. But for some reason, the action of him putting his arm up, it just makes it look kind of too quirky or too cheesy or something for me. So definitely not one of my favorites. Let's see, Adi Gallia. Pretty good looking pose. I'm going to put this one up here in A tier. I've always enjoyed her pose a lot. Mostly has to do with the way they captured the Jedi robes going around her. I think those look really, really, really nice. For a mini especially. Not a lot of characters necessarily do that. They're just like, see, the robes are more just kind of attached. But for this one, they did a great job of having them come out and around, so that looks good. This dude, I don't really care for Darth Tyrannus as much. They do, like, his robes are a lot shorter. He's missing the lightning. His clothes also seem a little bit too bright. I thought they were supposed to be darker, but I don't know. But I don't hate it either. I think it's a pretty solid pose, so B is solid. I don't like this Darth Vader at all. This might be one of my least favorite poses in the game. I know, I think there was a commenter a little while ago who mentioned, they actually mentioned this where, like, I don't know, they liked it. I don't like it. My problem with this one is it looks like he's coughing. But the thing that I really don't like about it is, like, this angle is actually not bad, but he just looks like he's like kind of prancing. I don't know how to describe it. It looks like he's just kind of like, you know, in the act of just kind of like doing some sort of like cliche evil villain, you know, kind of prancing around or something. I for some reason this is easily my least favorite Darth Vader pose, and it's not even close. Yeah, I think one thing I might do is after I go through all of these, like set by set, I might do a similar video, just really quick ones, of just doing tier lists or ranking like the actual like characters' poses. But that'll be later. I think that'd be fun to say compare the poses of all of like the Darth Vaders. Heck, maybe I'll even put it inside of maybe I'll like add it as part of my videos sometime. We'll see. I don't know. I'll just make them way too long, but we'll see. Utapau soldiers. These guys I think they actually look pretty sick. I don't know which one I like more though. I'm gonna put them both in B tier. But they actually look pretty sweet though. I'm gonna just put them down in B tier. They look solid. Wat Tambor looks nice for being Wat Tambor, but I'm not a big fan of these types of poses. They're just kind of boring to me. We got some Wookiees. The Yuzum. Yuzum is in B tier. Looks pretty good. You know, they got a lot of good detail on this giant creature. I think it looks nice. It doesn't wow me, but it looks good. Wookiees. I think this guy's A tier. I've always loved the way he's like ripping a head off of a battle droid. I think that's a really fun detail, and he just, you know, looks like his name. He's a berserker, and I thought this guy looks fantastic. The looking back Scout, good looking Wookiee. I'll put him right in B tier. I've always thought these guys look pretty nice. Like they're moving. Almost reminds me in some ways of what's the other character? There's other characters that's like running one way and looking left, but pretty solid. Tarful. What do we think about Tarful? I've always liked this guy a lot more than Chewbacca of Kashyyyk's pose, at least for the two unique Wookiees in this set. I'm trying to figure out, is that his gun? He's looking down the sights, or what exactly? I've always kind of had a hard time deciphering kind of what is going on in his hand, in his right hand, but I'll put this one in B tier as well. I think Tarful looks pretty good. Not my favorite looking one, pretty good. And then this Yoda's pretty nice. I might even say A tier. No, I might be inconsistent because Clone Strike Yoda, I didn't rate him very high. I'm going to put this one in B tier. I think I put Yoda Clone Strike in C tier, I believe. So I'm going to say B tier for this one. I think it looks good for Yoda. Like, it's just a little bit more detail. I like that the lightsaber's coming up a bit. I know it's very, very similar to the Clone Strike one, but for some reason I think this looks just a little bit better. Just a little bit better, personally. But, alright. Let's see any corrections. Do I like this S tier? Yep, I like this S tier just fine. I'm going to put this guy in S tier. I've always just loved the sculpt on this dude. Looks so sick. How else am I looking here? These guys are good for A tier. Yep. Yep, also good for A tier. B tier is fine. Alright, looks good. C tier, I just don't like the sculpt on this guy. Maybe I should... Okay, I'll be nice. I'll put it in B tier, because, like, yes, it looks like he's kind of poboing around on one leg and, like, spinning around, but, like, he does have some redeeming features, too. So I'll drop this guy up in B tier. C tier, just kind of boring, bland. And then D tier, like, actively, like, detracts from, the pose actively detracts from the sculpt. For me. So, okay, there we go. There's Revenge of the Sith. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, please subscribe if you haven't yet, and then definitely comment. It's been really fun to read your comments on these types of videos, to see, you know, what your opinions are, what you think, and like I said before, it's really fascinating to see all the different opinions. Like there's some things I'll rate like B tier, and people are like, that's my favorite of my favorite sculpt, and I think it's just really cool to see that, talk about it, and kind of also see what you guys dislike. So anyway, good times. After this one, I'll do Universe, and I'll probably just keep doing it in just chronological order as the set released, and we'll go from there. Anyways, until next time, have a good one.